welcome to class. And I am welcoming you from a very remote space here in the Himalaya, in an archaeological site, a temple that have, what, how many years you say it had? 2,500 years old temple. And the emanation here of the air and the energy is so expanded, and I will say that it really direct yourself towards love. And I want to talk about that because sometimes we have mystified and manipulate and twist the concept of love for our advantage, of to fill a void within ourselves. And for that we have two things that we do. The number one is we think that we need to love something. We need to love the family, we need to love God, we need to love anything that inspires us. We need to love our passion, we need to love our career, we need to love our any value that you think that it will give you life, it will give you energy, you start loving. And that love, it can be also your ego, right? You can be loving your tantrums, you can be loving your negativity, you can be loving your your childishness and things like that. So, but my point is that anything that we think that we need to love exteriorly, it cuts a very profound link towards the heart. Because the heart is intimate. The heart is something that is private to you, and it has a very unique treasure, which I will give you in a moment. The second part is that we think that we need to be loved, that we need to receive affection and love from the outside. And in that we can create a lot of dependency, we can create a lot of neediness, and we can create a sense of, we modified our behavior and our inspiration, thinking that, okay, I need to do this in order to receive love, right? You have been there? But either of these two dynamics involve the other, right? And I want to introduce you to this term, the other, where the other, it really takes you away from yourself, from your heart. And we can be in that dynamic forever, for many centuries or many incarnations, and that bouncing of the external and external, and feeling that we are not fulfilled, because we will never be able to fulfill the other. We then lose not only prana or life force, but we also lose a very subtle nectar that comes from the heart. And that nectar of the heart is the one that love without object, love without any time or space, is the very essence of the spirit. You can call it chi, you can call it whatever, but it really involves the intimacy of your heart. And when that heart have that juice, you are more promptly to surrender. In the moment of surrender, that it start pulsing. Your devotion, it becomes more intense, and you don't know why you particularly are loving or wanting or longing for, but all you know is that you create certain tears, you create certain openness, you create certain softness in the heart that connects you to everything. That love is the easiness of the beingness, of the consciousness itself. And in that, it have been worshipped in all these temples, in these parts. I mean, we are, I don't know how high in the Himalayas, and still people make these efforts to bring the stones and to make the temples and have this sense of representation for connecting with the heart. But through the years and through the time, we have lost the connection. We have pour our devotion in the temple itself or in the deity itself, rather than using that as a reminder of this intimate moment of the love of consciousness. And it's something that we need to reflect in this lesson of what is it you really loving, what you have been told that you need to love in order to be fulfilled, and how the fragility and the sensibility of that devotion have been crushed by the mind, thinking that, oh no, I will be way too vulnerable, or I will be it won't fit in the modern world, right? That I need to go to my cave here in the Himalayas to cultivate that. And yes, you do need to retreat and meditate for sure. But all I want in this lesson for you is to contemplate in the other. If you are really being fooled by the idea of the other to love, and with that you cannot coexist. If the other exists, your heart won't exist, and if your heart exists, everything will exist. The other thing I want to tell you about today is your homework, and the homework is to make a list of 2 columns. You make the column of the part that you think you should be loving externally, and you make notes and you write it down and contemplate in that a few days, and then make a second list of who you unconsciously or consciously have been asked that they love you. What is your request? Or if they send me flowers, it means they love me. If they pay attention, it means they love me. If they consider me, it means they love me. And see if you are able to, in 2 different days or even 2 or 3 days, you can able to see the 2 columns and say what really is real that you need in order to feel cozy in your heart. That is not even to love your personality or love your passion or love you what you think is yourself. It's about simply discovering that place rather than the feeling of the heart. The heart is a place, it's not a feeling. If you get into the feelings, you won't get the heart. The opposite, you feel very exposed, and you won't like to come out. You'll feel shy to speak, to express, to display, because you're not secure in the heart, because you are still in the dynamics of the other. So make this in 2 columns, and then give it a few days of repose, and then meditate just meditate with the intention that I want to be in the place of love, right? I want to be in the place of love. Set up that intention, put it in your altar, rather than I want to be loved or I want to love something. So destroy the others so you can enter into the incredible space of timelessness, of love, and pure and absolutely isness and beingness. Thank you so much for sitting with me in this splendor moment. I wish you could be here. I know it takes a long journey to get here, but it's totally worth it to take time for you to explore different parts of the world and to see that each community is looking for that heart. See you in the next class, and namaste.